Alright guys, I've got another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about text documents and how to read from them and how to write to them and doing some cool stuff with that. Um, Reading and writing to text documents is an extremely powerful tool in programming and video game creation especially. These things are used to create save states and item systems and just all kinds of stuff. You need to know how to read and to write to files, so this is going to be a very necessary part of my programming class. This is a more advanced section, but we'll work our way through it together. Here's an example of what we're going to be shooting for over the next couple of weeks. In respects to reading and writing to a file. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if I run this program, it says welcome to contacts logs, and it's got some options here. I can say show contacts, add a contact, remove a contact, and close. So I'm going to go ahead and do show contacts, and you can see I've got some people here. First and last name, and then a phone number. So basically just a really simple address book, I guess. Alright. So I can add to a contact. So I could say number 2. I could add a contact like John Smith. And then I can make up a phone number for him, I guess. Alright. And it says, does this look correct? Yes or no? And I'll say yes. And it says, great, we added John to your contact list. Then I can go back to my contacts and take a look. And you'll see down here at the bottom, we now have John Smith added to our contact list. And then if I wanted to remove a contact, I could push 3. And it will ask me, who do I want to remove? And I could even remove John Smith. Are you sure you want to remove him? Yes. So now John Smith has been removed from my contact list. Alright, so this particular program, let's add a person here. Let's add a contact. Let's do that again. So let's say, let's add John Smith back. And I'll make him up a phone number. Alright, so we added John Smith to our contact list. I'll show you. There he is right there. Alright, now I'm going to close this program and I'm going to reopen it. So I'm going to leave this program altogether. Let's go to YouTube. So now I'm on YouTube. I'm going to go back to my program again. Right there. Alright, so I'm back on my program here. And let's clear this and let's run it again, and we'll check our contacts, and lo and behold, John Smith is still there. The reason he is still there on this program, even though I added it and I left the page and then I came back, is because it stored the contact into this text document over here. So if I wanted to also add a person's name here, I could type it in, Derek Smith, and I could give him a number. Then if you play your stuff again, you can check it and say show contacts, and you can see I've added Derek Smith to the list. And if I leave and come back, it's going to remember that those names that I've added to it. Basically, it's storing the information into a text document that can be remembered. So I can build myself a contact list, store people's contact information in here, and remember it for a long time to come. This is basically how your phone works, a really simplified version of it. This information is stored in this text document, and I was able to add it to my Replit, And this is what we're going to be working on. We're going to try and build this program right here inside of Replit, and this is going to help you with save states and all kinds of stuff. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this. You should be coming to a page that looks something like this, and I've got some links up here at the top, and a really helpful one is going to be Python read text file. So you can take that link and paste it up at the top, and you can get some good information on how to read from a text document. And then the next one's also writing. So we're going to start working on this. The first step in this whole process is to come over here to the left-hand side, and it says add a file. So I want you to add a file, and I want you to call it, let's do address book dot txt, and press enter. Oops, I need an extra D in that thing. Let's see if I can rename it. There we go. All right, so now in your address book, I want you to just add a couple of names here. I'm going to add, let's say, these 3. There we go. So now I've got some names added into my address book. And so I've got some information here that I want to read from. So if you want to read some information that is on a text document, let's take a look and see how can we do that. Let's come to this part, and it says with open read name.txt as f. Alright, so this is how they say they want you to read it. It says the following shows us how to read all text from the readme.txt file into a string. Steps for reading a file in Python. To read a text file in Python, you follow these steps. First, open the text file for reading by using the open function. Second, read text from the text file using read or readline or readlines method of the file object. Third, close the file using close. All right, let's start off by opening our file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this file open. So I'm going to say, let's see, open file is equal to open. And the file that I want to open is right there, addressbook.txt. Now you're going to want to make sure that you type this exactly the same. So I'm going to say address underscore book dot text. Alright, that is going to open the file so I can read from it. Actually, it's just going to open that file, but we want to open the file and we want to read from it. So I'm going to do comma R. This R, you know what? I've got R. This R here, R means read file. R stands for reading the file. You also have the option to do W, which is write to the file. And then Python also has A, which is append or add to the end of the file. Let's go back and take a look at that. If you scroll down over here, you'll see that you've got this right here. R for open a text file for reading. W, open a text file for writing. A, open a text file for appending. Okay, so it says the open function has many parameters, but you'll be focusing on the first 2. The path to the file and the mode. That mode is what I chose right here, the R, and there is the path to the file. So let's see if I can read from it. Let's see, what does it say? Let's see, what's the best way to read this? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to try this first way to read it. We've opened the file just like this. Now let's see if we can read the file. Let's see, read all the text from a file into a string with the read function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say open file. So this is the file that we've already opened, and we want to do read. And that would actually read the file, but we also want to see what are we reading. So if I run that, it's not going to print anything out. So we want to see what we actually read. So let's see, file underscore information is equal to, so right there, we're going to take all that information and we're going to store it into file information. So let's do print file information. Run. So there we go. Tim Poole, and it's got his phone number. Lauren Sutherland, got hers. Matt Walsh, it's got his information there. All right, so if you'll take a look back here, you'll notice that it says that there are 3 steps. First, you open the file, then you read from it in some way, and third is you want to close that file. If you leave the file open, it will cause issues. So let's make sure that we close this file. So the final thing I want to do is, let's see, open underscore file dot close. Let's see, that should just close the file. So let's run this. Same thing. What can happen is if you don't close the file, it'll just cause errors, and you'll like leave a file open, and these are the 3 steps. So this is what you want to do. So let's write some steps here. So see, step 1, open the file. And then step 2, read the file. And then finally, step 3, I'm going to cut this, move this down. Paste. Step 3 is close the file. Close the file. All right, there are your 3 steps in order to read a file. So I say open a file. You can change this part right here, but basically what it does is this opens the file and puts the open file into a variable. So if you'll notice that this open file name is the same here and here, and it's also the same thing I close. So I am able to open and close, or I'm able to change these variables to be many different types of names. Let's go take a look back over here in this file mode. So we also have read a single line, so you can read it 1 line at a time. So if we take a look at our text document, we've got line 1, which was Tim Poole's line, and then Lauren's line would be the 2nd line, and then Matt Walsh's line would be the 3rd line. But when we use the read option, it will read all of the lines. Let's go try out a different read option. So we have read, and it says read all the text from a file into a string. This method is useful if you have a small file and you want to manipulate the whole text of that file. The next one says read line. Read line the text file line by line and returns all the lines as a string. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take this comment here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this into a comment. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back in here, and maybe I'll make it a comment like this. All right, let's give this a shot. Let's try, instead of the read option, let's use the read line. So I'm going to say read line. Let's see if we're able to use just the regular read line function. So red. You'll notice that it's only pulling the first line. What if I put 1 here? Does it read a different line? Nope, it reads that first line. Oops. It reads the first element from that line. So if you want to read line, it will read the first line. Read the text line by line and return all the lines as a string. And then this one says read lines. Read all the lines of the text file and return them as a list of strings. So let me make another comment here. We'll grab this one and I'll come over here and I will say read line. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in this other one here, read lines. So let's try read lines out. So I'm just going to put an S in there. And you'll see that it's returning each one of those lines as a, it puts them all into 3 different strings. So Tim Pool would be 0, Lauren Sutherland would be 1, Matt Walsh would be 2. Let's see if we can do that. So file information, we could do square brackets 0, and that should print out Tim Pool. And then if we do 1, that will be Lauren Sutherland. And then finally, number 2, that will be Matt Walsh. Alright, so this video is getting kind of long, but this is the basics of reading from a file. We're going to start building on this concept and start creating our own address book program like I showed you at the beginning. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Brush up on some of this stuff, and I'll see y'all in the next one.